Hello, everybody, and we are live once again. Now we have Chevonne, Aschute, and Tiffany from JACRA from the beautiful island of Jamaica. I myself am a big fan of Jamaica, having worked in the region. I always try to make it to Jamaica for a little jerk chicken and some callaloo patties. So, Chevonne, the floor is yours. Talk to us about JACRA. And if you want to start sharing your screen with your slides, please do so now. The floor is yours. Siobhan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I am trying to start the screen
Oh,
share.
okay, fantastic.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin our presentation, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the FAO for providing us with this platform where we can not only highlight the work that we have been doing, but also to present investment opportunities to grow these sectors. And today we'll be focusing primarily on our spices industry, specifically ginger and turmeric. So before we go into the meat of the matter, just to give you a background on JACRA. JACRA is the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, and we are responsible for promoting, developing, regulating, and standardizing 7 agricultural commodities, namely.
Oh, I think we lost our folks. Let me get them back on. But this is a great topic, and considering that ginger is one of my favorite things, it's important for us to get them back. Hold on for 1 minute, and we'll be right. Oh, there we go. We lost you for a hot second.
Yes, that's what I realized. Yes, so I'm not sure how much you guys missed, but I was just giving a background on JACRA to say that we are the regulatory authority
Yeah.
for 7 commodities, including ginger and turmeric, which our presentation will focus on. Now, these commodities that we regulate are or traditionally exported commodities, and they have been sparking a lot of interest um, in the growing global specialty foods market with strong potential for further growth. These commodities we consider are high value commodities, and this is because of the quality, the unique quality features of these commodities. However, production has been declining in these industries for the past several years, and therefore we need to take aggressive actions to address this. So, let's now look at the production status for ginger. As I've said before, the commodities that we regulate have been experiencing decline. For over the past couple of years, we have seen a decline in ginger production by approximately 50%, and this is mainly as a result of the ginger rhizome rot. For turmeric, now the turmeric sector in Jamaica is a bit different from the ginger in terms of turmeric is mostly grown in the wild. So what we have are harvesters and not necessarily producers or cultivators. However, in collaborating with the FAO in 2020, we developed our turmeric value chain. We did the value chain assessment, and from that, we implemented the turmeric pilot project, which for the very first time, we have commercially cultivated turmeric, right? So the current production for turmeric in Jamaica is approximately 800 metric tons per year. However, we have a high demand for turmeric, mostly for the export market. Currently, we are only fulfilling 745 metric tons, and the unfilled market is roughly 955 metric tons, and that is for the export fresh market. For the local process market, our local processors have to import turmeric because there is just not enough. They are currently being supplied with only 13 metric tons of turmeric, and their demand is almost 1,000 metric tons. Right, so the annual demand for ginger and turmeric globally, of course, is extremely high for ginger, and this is based on 2020 data. For ginger, it is 4.5 million metric ton demand globally, and for turmeric, it's 1.1 million metric tons. And majority of these turmeric go into the pharmaceutical and food industry for both commodities, ginger and turmeric. And of course, since COVID, that demand would have increased significantly. So at JACRA, we look at the market, because before we can develop the industry, we have to take a look at the market. Is there demand? And of course, based on our market analysis, we see that there is a great demand for both Jamaica ginger and Jamaica turmeric, right? Currently, what we're producing accounts for less than 30% of the demand. This has resulted in job loss of around 3,500, and of course, lost in revenue equivalent to US $15 million. So for us to fully assess the value chain, we look at the constraints for both the ginger and the turmeric value chain. And for ginger, from our assessment, we realized that the overarching constraints include lack of access to clean planting material to expand production, supply shortage domestically, or local producers have to be importing ginger to meet the needs. Of course, we are faced with the rhizome rot disease, and our farmers lack access to financial support. Inputs are also an issue in terms of their availability and also their cost. Majority we have to import, so that leads to a high cost in production. And of course, controlling the rhizome rot requires a lot of input, and that push up production costs, right? We also have constraints at the processing level, which include lack of produce to fulfill the demand. As stated before, for ginger, the demand is around 17,000 metric tons. Currently, we are just producing 3,500 metric tons. We also have high cost of imported equipment and high cost to test the quality. And for JACRA, quality is important. It's very important for us. At the export level, low volumes because of the issues with production. This has caused a high price for our ginger that is sold. And of course, for supportive services, we do not have enough nursery facilities to provide the clean planting material to our farmers who are interested. For turmeric, the constraints are similar in terms of lack of planting material needed to increase production. As I said, it's mostly produced in the wild, and that wild production and cultivation outweighs our commercial production. As I said, commercial production started in 2020, and I must say we're going into our third round of production. My colleague, Mr. Aschute, will expound further on the work that we have done so far and our targets for the coming years. In terms of the input level, access to planting material is also an issue. The cost of production in terms of the input to do weed management, inconsistent supply is also a big issue, or local processors, spice processors just cannot get enough of the Jamaican turmeric, which they really want because of the quality features. And so that has forced them to import turmeric from elsewhere. So as you can see, there's a demand for the turmeric. I can tell you based on our experience, since this year, we have gotten a lot of requests from other Caribbean countries asking us for various volumes of turmeric and ginger, and we were unable to supply. So there is a great demand for it.
So just being mindful of time, just being mindful of time, I just wanted to also to see if you can focus also on the areas that in terms of investment. So what would you be focusing on with the investment given the opportunity, on what are those growth areas that you're looking to?
Yes, so my
define?
colleague, Mr. Aschute, will take us through that, the investment part and our next step, which we will need investment, persons investing for us to carry out or to continue the work.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany, for bringing us thus far. So we would have partnered with FAO, and these are some of the figures that would have been developed for our business investment profile. So looking at approximately 5 hectares, we expect to plant 250,000 seedlings. And with a 2 cycle of 500,000 seedlings, we are looking at a gross revenue of 32.3 million and a gross profit of 20 million over a 2 year span or 2 cycles. And the breakdown, of course, it can be shared for persons. A part of what JACRA does is that we ensure that we provide whatever information that is necessary, and this is where it comes under public support. So whatever it is that investors will need, whether it is training through the single board technology or nursery operations, whatever it is the business model, we have developed nursery models to ensure that farmers and processors, investors overall, have guidelines in which they can operate on. And of course, these are not written in rocks. A key part of what we do here is research. So if someone would have adopted one of what we would have shown them and they would have found an easier way, a more economical way of doing this, then of course we welcome that. Some of the advantages that we are looking at, of course, is that, and as was previously mentioned by Tiffany, what we produce in Jamaica is renowned and it is loved by everyone and it is always in demand. And if we go further into commercial production, we expect that the prices of our fresh produce will reduce significantly. And of course, this will be beneficial to our processors. Not that it will take anything from our farmers, because a part of what we wish to do and want to encourage is to reduce production costs overall, which will both benefit farmers and producers. And of course, with any business engagements, there are risks. And as was previously mentioned, our biggest risk with both the ginger and turmeric is the rhizome rat. So a part of what we want to do is to ensure that we have clean seed technology. So we will be introducing certification just to ensure that the persons who are doing this production, of course, knows what is done, and persons who will be buying from these establishments can be assured that this is a certified institution, so they know that they'll be getting clean seed. Going over into turmeric, this is a business model that was developed, of course, with the help of FAO, and this one would have shown where we would have brought down the unit cost $20 per pound in order to produce an acre of material. We're looking at a gross revenue of 800 to 1 million. Why there's a gap there is because what we would have done in our test is that we would have done 2 planting cycles in terms of the amount of plants per acre. And so the more plants that you put per acre, then of course you would expect that you will have a higher revenue overall. So we're looking at a net profit of 330,000 to 450,000. And of course, the challenges and the support are similar. And we will be here as a statutory body to guide, to provide all the support that is needed for persons all the way through from the nursery establishment, production, and value chain assessment in terms of those who will be doing processing.
In terms of that profit profit expectation that you showed, is that what is the time frame from that profit?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
So both ginger and turmeric are plants that grow for 7 to 9 months. And a part of what we encourage, which is not reflected here, is we encourage intercropping. This could include onions, sweet corn, whatever it is that a processor would have in mind. So a lot of the processors, especially for turmeric and ginger, they make curry, and one of their key ingredients is seasonings, additional seasonings like
Understood.
scallion, thyme. So it would be good for farmers to intercrop, and then this will produce additional revenue during the entire process, whilst having a market for all of these as well.
Just looking at the time, I do want to give some space for the questions that we're getting because we're definitely getting some questions from the audience. Particularly, we have a question saying that what are the international markets, regional and international markets for ginger and turmeric from that that JACRA has seen?
All right, so there is market demand from the US, and with the Caribbean agreement where there is a 20 by 20 where they want to reduce importation from other countries by 2020, we have seen where we would have gotten requests from other Caribbean islands. And this is because Jamaican turmeric has been tested and proven to have high curcumin level, which is what really gives that flavor for the curry or the turmeric, and also that pharmaceutical and nutraceutical effect that a lot of people have been trailing since COVID, since the pandemic. And the same goes for ginger. The potency, the pungency is very high. So less is needed to give the effect that is needed for whatever is being produced, while still providing the same quality that is needed to bring through whatever it is that one is producing.
We have another question saying if somebody from St. Kitts or another island in the Caribbean wanted to get planting materials, how would they be able to do that?
All right, so in terms of the exportation of planting materials, we have never ventured there before. We always encourage persons, since we have that weather, that specific climate that has been given the results that have proven to be the one in demand. We really encourage investors to partner with farmers, or if it is that they would like to do their own growing out, then we of course partner with the different agro parks, and so persons are able to get whatever allotment of land that they need in order for them to do the growing out. But we have never exported planting material, and not only the exportation, but from each country, one has to know what their requirements are in terms of importation, because a lot of countries, they have strict restrictions on what is imported because they don't want to introduce any disease or pests to the area.
Well, Chevonne, we really are pushing up on time and really wanted to thank you. I think you presented a very bankable opportunity in the sense of farmers being able to meet a profit level that is quite interesting and important, and particularly with outside investment, definitely an opportunity to seek in the region. So we want to thank you very much for your participation.
You are
and
welcome. And what I have done is that I would have provided information, because to be truthful, what we have done in the last 2 to 3 years, it's hard to present in 15 minutes. So persons who want to know more, please feel free to email us. The information is provided there, and we'll answer all questions that are necessary. If we need to do a scheduled Zoom meeting to satisfy,
sounds great.
it's fine.
Well, thank you very much, Chevonne, and for everybody in the audience, stay tuned. We'll be starting our next showcase in a couple of seconds. Chevonne, thank you very much, and Tiffany as well. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.